Welcome to Dark Knight Films Reviews. I'm your host, Matt Spease, and today is our first action movie night in which I will be reviewing Rapid Fire, released in 1992. Rapid Fire stars Brandon Lee, Powers Boothe, Nick Mancuso, Raymond J. Kate Hodge, Tzi Ma, Tony Longo, Michael Paul Chan, Dustin Nguyen, Brigitta Stenberg, Basil Wallace, and Leong. Rapid Fire was directed by Dwight H. This film came about when Dwight Little had done Halloween 4, and Steven Seagal was impressed with that film and Dwight's direction on it, ironically, and he wanted him to direct his next film, Hard to Kill. But Warner Brothers would not sign off on that. They would not approve of Dwight Little as the director for that film. So that didn't happen there. So Seagal, for his next film, Marked for Death, ended up going to Fox, using a clause in his contract to be able to use a different studio, and went to Fox, and Fox did allow him to use Dwight Little as the director. Fox was so impressed with Dwight Little's direction on Marked for Death that they wanted him to do a new vehicle for them, which was Rapid Fire. They were wanting to bring in Brandon Lee as the next big action hero. But Brandon Lee did not want to be just a action movie star. He wanted to be like a couple of his heroes, Mel Gibson and Johnny Depp. But producer Robert Lawrence had seen Brandon in the film Legacy of Rage, which is a great film, and I might review that one on the channel down the road here. And he was impressed with him and wanted to try and build him as this big action hero for Fox. This was the second collaboration between Dwight H. Little and Alan B. McElroy since Halloween 4. And they work so well together. I mean, Alan writes such good dialogue and such good scripts that they just work well off of each other. And Dwight's direction is just solid in every film that he does. And this film is no different. Although Dwight did have a problem with rewrites that they did that didn't have Alan involved, apparently, that ended up forcing Tzi Ma's Kinnaman Tao to be that big reveal near the end of him being the secondary antagonist popping up in there. He didn't really like that twist. He thought it hurt the overall film, and I kind of agree. I think the main villain of this should have remained Nick Mancuso's Antonio Serrano. Because, as much as I love Brandon Lee, and as much as I loved Kate Hodge's performance as Detective Carla Withers, their spotlight is stolen from them by the great performances of both Powers Boothe as Lieutenant Mace Ryan and Nick Mancuso's Antonio Serrano. I mean, these two just exude confidence and charisma while they were on screen. And they are just loving every minute of this film as they act in there. Just take a look at some of this work from Powers Boothe as Mace Ryan.
Well, Detective Withers, my intelligence officer. Lay some intelligence on me, will you? Go get yourself a bag of donuts. You want to keep breathing, kid? Don't move. You're a slow learner, kid. Get your ass in here! Sons of bitches! Son of a bitch! Name's Ryan, Lieutenant Mace Ryan.
Jake Lowe.
So tell me, Jake, are you having a bad day or what? Why don't you take those fists of fury of yours outside? You're making the poor man nervous.
Good.
This poor man. I know you got the hots for him, but can't you keep it under control for 10 minutes?
I'm talking business.
So am I, damn it. You're supposed to be my intelligence officer. Why don't you try showing me some by getting your ass across the street?
And now, let's take a look at some amazing work from Nick Mancuso as Serrano.
Now you listen to me, you fucking little bastard. I got you started when all your couriers could deliver on the street with fortune cookies and chow mein. You were a fucking runner for me, Tommy. That's your history. We came down the chimney. Ho, ho, ho. You owe me. The tongs owe me. Everybody owes me. And I don't give a fuck who hears it. He says, oh, you got to be willing to take it. Well, I'm an American.
Fucking kid broke my fucking nose.
As I said, these two are amazing in this film. And it's nothing against Brandon. I mean, Brandon does a great job playing Jake Lowe in this, as does Kate Hodge. And Kate Hodge and Brandon have a really good chemistry working off of each other, so that whenever it comes time for their big sex scene, it is very sexy and hot, and it is a lot like the previous really hot sex scene in Roadhouse with Patrick Swayze and Kelly Lynch. So I've always loved their love scene in this film. I mean, it was just, it's beautiful. And way back, I didn't appreciate the way that they intertwined Mace pursuing Tao and going after his drug operations and everything while that love scene is happening. But, you know, looking at it with more adult eyes on this film now, I see how, as a director, how Dwight Little, how brilliant that was to intertwine that great love scene with these moments with Mace Ryan and Zhu Man's Kinnaman Tao, even though that does culminate with the assassination of Nick Mancuso's awesome Antonio Serrano. But this film has a great score by Christopher Young. He does an amazing job on this film, composing some music, and you would not think that this was the same guy that composed music for a Hellraiser film, because it just shows how talented Christopher Young is as a composer, to be able to do something like Hellraiser and do an excellent job with the score, and then do something like Rapid Fire. I mean, he is a great composer, and the music in this is just so good. Now, the final fight scenes between Brandon Lee and Al Leong is pretty freaking badass. This is one of the better, and it's a lot better fight between Brandon and Al Long than it is Brandon and Tzi Ma as Tao. So, yeah, it's just a testament to how good of martial artists Brandon and Al are. But Al Long was always a great martial artist, to where whenever he played in a film, he really did, and he got a good fight scene, he really always did a kick-ass job of doing a badass fight scene. So props to him. One other performer I would really like to point out in this that I really enjoyed was Tony Longo as Brunner.
Hey, you fuck this up again, I'll blow your house up.
He is a henchman to Nick Mancuso, and in the scenes he's in, he steals the show just about as much as Serrano does. He is very good, and there was a pretty good little fight scene with him and Brandon as well, near the midpoint of the film, which is really good. Tony Longo was always a strong supporting actor. He's never been the main guy, but he's always been strong as a supporting actor in films, and I've always liked him. So, another strong performance in this film that I will get to before I get to my final rating is Raymond J. Barry as Agent Frank Stewart and Basil Wallace as Agent Wesley. Now, Basil Wallace was the lead villain of Screwface and his twin brother in Marked for Death prior to this. In this, he plays a much smaller role. I think he's only in one scene as Agent Wesley, but he's really good in that little sequence that he's in. But Raymond J. Barry, oh, wow, that guy did a really good job on his role as Frank. The turncoat, dirty agent who's working with Serrano the whole time and trying to help Serrano to kill Jake. Of course, Mace and Jake find out about that, and I love the scene in which Jake confronts Frank and everything. It's just such a cool moment. And the way Mace reacts watching as Brandon kicks his ass is just great. This film, my final rating for Rapid Fire 1992, I give this film a 9.5 out of 10. It's only, it would have been a 10 had it not been for that weird thing with Tao, making Tao the main protagonist by the end of the film, which came out of nowhere. Yes, he is introduced earlier in the film, but you didn't need to make him the primary antagonist in this film at the end of the film. It didn't work. But overall, Rapid Fire is a great action film, well directed by Dwight Little and well acted by every performer in this film, some more than others. Speaking of Powers Boothe and Nick Mancuso. But, yeah. If you have not seen Rapid Fire, go watch this thing now. It is one of the better action films of all time. And so, what do you guys think of Rapid Fire? Have you seen this film? Do you agree with my review? Let me know in the comments down below. And, as usual, do not forget to like, share, and subscribe, because it really does help this channel out a lot. Alright, so that is the end of Action Movie Night 1. Tomorrow, I would hope you would join me for the first video game night. So, I hope to see you then. Thanks for watching.